Here we have an excellent grouping of Clovis bifaces. Now these are Clovis biface storystone face and mammoth effigies, and they were all found in the Calico Hills, with exception to these two here, which were found on Harvard Hill. Dr. Michael Gramley has stayed with me on many occasions, and I've taken him to Harvard Hill on several occasions, as well as the Calico Hills. And he's written a paper, Presumed Clovis at Harvard Hill, that can be accessed on the Pleistocene Coalition newsletter online. And he's also done some articles on ResearchGate regarding the Clovis occupation at the Calico Hills. Basically, according to Dr. Michael Gramley, who is the foremost paleoarchaeologist, professional archaeologist in the country, a Harvard graduate, there's nobody better when it comes to Clovis. He's the number one archaeologist in that department. And he has indicated through observation that 80% of the surface artifacts in the Calico Hills are of Clovis origin, dating between 12,200 and 13,500 years before present. Then 20% of the surface artifacts in the Calico Hills are pre-Clovis, which are mainly your stemmed type of points that come to a tapered stem. And you can access some of those on Dr. Michael Gramley's ResearchGate article entitled Thick Lancelets and the Development of Fluted Points. You'll see a number of my Calico Hills pre-Clovis spear points pictured in that article. But here's a very good example of a Clovis biface. Now, Dr. Michael Gramley and other professional archaeologists, they have a label for this type of paleo artifact. They call it a sunfish. But it's a paleo biface, and it's a Clovis biface, and they call it a Clovis sunfish. And so basically, because these are all Paleolithic era, over 12,000 years old, and Clovis in particular is 12,200 to 13,500, according to Dr. Gramley. Now we have a mammoth facing right with this its eye and this its hair brow above its head. Very cool image of a mammoth there facing right. And then when we turn it this way, we have a face with an eye here, and this is its hair above its head where the cortex they've left on there. And we look at it this way, a very cool image. We've got the eye of the mammoth here and the big sweeping trunk coming off to the right here. And then we have this face that's been carved into the flint, the eye, nose, and mouth looking up from the back of the mammoth. Very cool. I found this on the surface many years ago, and it was broken, and I found both halves and glued it back together. So you can see the alternating patina, which tells us that it did break over 12,000 years ago. Here's a great mammoth image. The eye here, the baby mammoth here with its trunk here, and the hair tuft above its head, now facing off to the right. What a beautiful Clovis artifact, called a sunfish, but it's actually an effigy. Here's another one, another Clovis artifact, and we have a mammoth now facing left, with this the eye and the trunk coming down. Probably the best image is right here, with that hole right there, the eye in the middle, and the trunk coming down over here. And then the hair all along the ridge of the back of the mammoth has been flaked out there. Very cool. Very nice mammoth image there. It's a Clovis biface, and as all of these are. So just a really great artifact there. Here's one made out of petrified wood with a mammoth image looking left. The eye here, the hair tuft above the head, flaked in 3D bas relief. And it was flaked all around the edges of this. And here's a mammoth with the eye here facing right now, heavily patinated. Wow. Here's a mammoth now facing right, with the eye right here and the trunk off to the right. And there's a cool face there looking right up from the back. Look at the eye and the nose, which is the appendage there. Cool face looking up from the back of the mammoth. And that's typical with paleo story stones. Here's another nice Clovis biface. Here's the eye of the mammoth. Its trunk over here, tapering back. Great face. Great face looking off to the left. The young face, the old drooping nose face looking off to the right. Very nicely flaked. Here's a mammoth now with its trunk curling down to the left with its eye right there. Very cool imagery. We have another one here. This is another Clovis biface here, flaked on a flake, really. This one. There's a nice trunk there. The eye's been scraped out. Mammoth facing left, and this one's, like I say, flaked on a flake. And that's typical Clovis as well. This is a nice mammoth image here. Dr. Gramley liked that particular one with the trunk sweeping down to the right. And then we have the baby mammoth on the back with the eye scraped out at the top left. And these are oftentimes made to stand up. There's a beautiful mammoth facing right there. This is a great biface, Clovis biface here. And this is from Harvard Hill. There's your mammoth facing left, the eye here, the little trunk there. You got a real nice mature mammoth now facing right. Oh, cool. And you got another mammoth now. That's the baby with the exaggerated eye. Little trunk facing left. This way you have the mature mammoth with the big eye, the hair tuft, and the trunk coming down to the right. What a great mammoth image that is. And it's a beautifully, beautifully flaked Clovis biface effigy. And another Clovis biface effigy right here. Trunk coming down, eye. Wow. So just some great, oh, this one is actually a Clovis preform. It's what Clovis preforms look like in the Calico Hills. You see it's fluted, and then the points are more leaf-shaped or parallel-sided. So most of your fluted Clovis points are leaf-shaped or parallel-sided in the Calico Hills and the Lake Mannix lithic industry. So there we have a grouping, a fine grouping of Clovis bifaces that were left as story stone offerings.